Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. There's a new sheriff in Allen Park. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl, Johnny J and I discuss the Matthew Stafford trade to the LA Rams for Jared Goff and a bunch of picks. Then we take a look at how Shelia Ford Hamp is redesigning how the Lions do business and some additional coaches headed to Dan Campbell's staff. All this and more coming up right now on the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
Hey, good people. How you doing out there?
Hey, man, it's good to be back. It is time to get into some stuff. But, my man, first, what we need to do is definitely go ahead and thank everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it if you're watching this video or listening on a podcast platform. Thank you. If you're on our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button, hit the like button, comment. And if you aren't a member yet, go over to our Facebook page. Seany J does this thing, holding you down with Detroit Lions news and rumors right over there on our Facebook page. He does an amazing job. If you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, thanks for the listen. We really appreciate it. And you can catch out more content for more creators over on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Go over to bellyupsports.com and check it out. There is a myriad of podcasts over there and hard-hitting articles that you can check out over there on bellyupsports.com. Now, you know what we need to do. It is time to tell me something good. Seany J, you up first, my brother. Tell me something good.
Well, to begin this Black History Month 2021, two of our important members of our secondary had birthdays this week. Mr. Tracy Walker, the starting free safety, and last year's number one draft pick, Jeffrey Okudah. They both have birthdays on the 1st and 2nd of this month. We them both healthy coming back. They didn't have great season in 2020, but they know that. I understand they had injuries. Okudah was playing hurt. We didn't know the extent of it till afterwards, but we need both those guys back strong. They're still young guys. They're still part of the Lions' future.
Yes. Happy birthday, fellas. We really appreciate you on our squad. Next up, we have one veteran quarterback from the NFL joining our coaching staff. Mark Brunell will be taking over as quarterback coach to solidify that position. I really like the hire. One thing about Dan Campbell, he's bringing in some big name guys to coach on his coaching staff in the positions and in the assistants, and as far as the coordinators as well. So big shout out to Mark Brunell. Congratulations for being hired for our quarterback coach for the Lions. Now it is time to go on the ball, my man. First up, let's look at the particulars of the big trade. So let's look at the trade itself. All right, the Lions send Matthew Stafford to the LA Rams for Jared Goff, a third-round draft pick in 2021, and a first-round draft pick in 2022 and 2023. Now, this trade cannot become official until March 17th, 2021, which is the start of the new league year. And both players have to complete the medicals, the physicals before it can become official. But in principle, Detroit has sent Matthew Stafford to LA and will get Jared Goff in exchange and a draft pick this year and 2 first-round draft picks in the next year's draft and the year after that. So, Seany J, give me your initial reaction to the trade.
You know how I heard about it? I was in a store in line, I got off work, my weekend job. I was in Kroger's, went in line, had my Lions hat on, and the gentleman in front of me say, "Sir, you Lions fan? You got the hat on?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Look, I just heard that Stafford was traded to LA for Goff." I said, "What?" I couldn't believe it. So I checked my own phone to verify because people play pranks, and it was true. I mean, yeah, Stafford for Goff. I mean, and if you follow our group, Lions Choose fan group, I've been doing a lot of posting. You see my postings. I suggested that trade on a swap between Goff and Stafford. So I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
You're a savant, huh? You're clairvoyant. You knew it was going to happen.
Who called it first? Yes, two former top picks. I was shocked. A lot of people said that both men were untradeable, because Stafford's contract and Goff's contract was even bigger. But they worked it out. I mean, what's his name? The new general manager,
Brad Holmes.
Yes, he's a boss. I mean, he's been making boss moves since he's been here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been better than Russ Thomas. He's better than Matt Millen and Bob Quinn put together.
One move, huh? All right. So let's kind of get into the numbers of these two guys before we really kind of get into the ramifications of like the cap hits or anything like that. So let's look at Matthew Stafford's numbers. Number 9, he was number 1 in our program, not in our program, number 1 in our hearts. All right, for his career in Detroit, 45,109 yards passing with 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions, and an 89.9 quarterback rating. If you look at Jared Goff, his comparable numbers, he's played probably half the time as Stafford in the league. 18,171 yards passing, 107 yards, 107 touchdowns, 55 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 91.5. Now, for me, the biggest difference between the two is that Goff, for the most part, has had a decent running game. The most of the part time he's been in the league. Came in, when he was drafted, he already had the big fella out there running the ball out there. Todd Gurley. So he had a decent running game, and he still had one last year. So, and they've had decent defenses out there. Now Goff becomes the new face in Detroit, for the next 2 seasons, at least $43 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons. Now, if the Lions want to move on from him after next year, it'll be a $15 million cap hit in 2021. So the Lions are going to be tied to this guy at least for 2 years, or at a minimum 1. So what do you think about the cap ramifications of having Jared Goff on the team?
It's the same thing with Stafford. I mean, if the Lions aren't happy with Goff after 2 seasons, they were ready to move on. They could. Same thing. Stafford had 2 years left on his contract. Now, I wanted Matthew to stay, but he was ready to go. And, you can't force a man to stay, or you can't force a woman to stay when she wants to go. So you let them go, set them free. He wanted to go. The Lions. They gave him his wish. Like I said, same amount of money, time. If you catch Stafford for 2 more years, or Goff for 2 years, same thing. So I think that pans out evenly to me, in my opinion. If either Stafford's getting old, retires, regresses, or Goff, he doesn't show anything. So I think it's a good trade.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that it does provide is the Lions a bunch of draft capital. Now, check this out, Shawnee J. Over the next 3 seasons, right? So we were talking about the next 3 drafts. The one coming up, the 2021 draft, the 2022 draft, and the 2023 draft. The Lions will have 5 first-round picks in the draft. That's never happened. We'd never had that kind of draft capital in Detroit. So I like what you said about my man, Brad Holmes. He's making some boss moves. I don't think the 2021 season is going to really be that successful. I just think we're going to be into a rebuild or a retool where we're going to have to kind of work with, some cap hits on the roster. So we're not going to get we're going to get younger. We're going to be probably a young team, a fast team, but we're not going to be that experienced. But we're looking at the future, and we have a lot of draft capital to build a better team in the upcoming years.
I think once again, these guys they want to rebuild, they want to win. Dan Campbell's competitors homes.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to rebuild, they would just traded Stafford for draft picks, no starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They were drafted a rookie like some people want like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or someone that ilk. They were drafted a rookie quarterback. I think the Lions really want to compete. That's why they got Jared Goff, a guy former top pick, still young, but has 5 years NFL experience. I think they really compete as best they can. They're not just going to concede this is going to be a rebuilding, losing season. They want to really try to win, which they should.
Yeah, I think we're going to be competitive. I think we're going to have some good competitive games. It's going to be one of the toughest. If you look at our opponents, we're going to have one of the toughest schedules in the league by far. And I'm not saying that I want the Lions to lose, and I just think it's going to be some tough sledding with the personnel that we have. We're going to have some big cap hits that we're going to have to get off the roster to get some free agents in. One thing I do like is that we're building a coaching staff that's going to build up interest in having free agents come to the team because they want to come play for Dan Campbell or Anthony Lynn or Aaron Glenn or any of those guys. They want to play for those guys because they want to come to a culture that is about winning, about toughness. I think we're going to build a tough, hard-nosed team. Like my man Dan Campbell said, we're going to bite your kneecaps off on the way up if we get knocked down. So I'm really excited about that stuff. But because we're going to talk about that here real soon. Now, thank you again for tuning in to the Die Hard Dan podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and ring that notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here. If you're watching on Facebook, share it, like the video, comment on the video. We really appreciate that. And definitely, if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, thanks for the download or the listen. We really appreciate that. And if you're not a member already, go over to our Facebook page. Sean, you do an excellent job, my brother, for keeping that page updated with all the current Lions news and rumors. Now it is time to defend the den. Now it's time to look at some more changes to the coaching staff for this week. We already talked about Mark Brunell. Let's kind of look at some of the other guys. And I want you to tell me what you think, my man. So you had Don Capers come in as a senior defensive assistant. Calvin Simpson. Now we already got an inside linebacker coach with Mark DeLeon, but now we have an outside, and it's former Lion Calvin Shepard. If you remember him from a few years ago, he played outside linebacker, former LSU star. Then we have Todd Wash, who is a former defensive coordinator. He has a long time in the league, so he's another one of those experienced guys to come in to coach the D-line, former defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then we have Brian Duker coming over from the Baltimore Ravens as a defensive assistant. And then we have Seth Ryan to come in as an assistant wide receivers coach. So what do you think about those new additions to the coaching staff?
Well, like I said before in previous posts, the Lions are putting together an all-star coaching staff as well as the all-star front office. I mean, we've never seen this before, as you've previously stated. If now, can we attract some all-star players to Detroit? That'd be the question. Sue, some guys like Ndamukong Suh, he missed that. He's impressed by what the Lions are doing, and hopefully other players are taking note about the Lions are doing. It's not the same old Lions. They want to win. Finally, they're putting, like I said, they're putting together the front office and the staff. Now can we get some players, some ball players, make it go. So that'd be great. So I just don't want to concede that 2021 is going to be a rebuild year. We're going to suck, and we need to tank for a higher draft pick like a lot of fans like to do.
Oh, no,
I want to go out there and try and win. Yeah,
I want the Lions to win.
let's hope let's hope, like I said, we put together all-star coaching staff, an all-star front office. Let's get a few all-star players to the D and make Detroit a destination like Michigan, the Wolverines. I guess comparison, they revamped their coaching staff. Look all these ballers they got. So they got a few flips, including the big defensive tackles, some flips.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully, so the Lions do the same thing. Get some all-stars. Just the Wolverines got an all-star class. So
yeah, definitely. I feel what you're saying. Now let's look at. We talk about Shelia Ford Hamp, right? She's really changed the way. Now, one thing we did say last year, and we didn't see it during the season until really that when Matt Patricia was fired, that Shelia Ford Hamp was going to change the way that the Lions conduct the business of football. And you look at how they did the coaching search. It was real in depth, as well as the GM search. You know, they got some people in the room. It wasn't like when Bob Quinn, when you had like a couple of other people really interview. Now you had a really deep dive into these candidates on both the head coach and the general manager. But you also see a mix of experienced coaches and experienced front office people mixed in with the youth. So you have experience and youth, where you have some of these young guys who were big name candidates for other positions choosing to come to Detroit. But then you have some experienced guys. You know, look how long Dan Campbell has been in the league. He's been in the league forever, and with Todd Wash as well. And then you have somebody like John Dorsey, who's been in football longer than I've been alive. So, I mean, you have these experience. So, I mean, I said this on a show earlier. Like they're making it where you have these young and up and coming guys who can lean back, like my man Fat Joe said, on some experienced guys in the organizations. We haven't seen that. Either you had the old guys came in or the new guys come in. You never had a mixture of both.
Right.
And
it was basically, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Basically, one guy was Russ Thomas.
Yeah.
Or Matt Millen. Or Martin Mayhew. Or Bob Quinn. Just one guy.
It's one guy. So you have a brain trust where you have, you know, where you have Brad Holmes can rely on somebody like a John Dorsey, and then Mark Disner has stepped up his role. He's not only just our capologist, he's the head of the business side of the football operations as well. So they're putting together a brain trust where you have like a business where you have like a committee, and they're doing everything as a group effort, so you can get all these people with the right ideas and making sure it's a series of checks and balances where we can do the best thing for the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, I love what they're doing. My only concern is there's too many egos in the room. You know.
Yeah.
Dorsey's been known to be, control freak. He's a good football man. But, that's the rap. He's a control freak. He might rub some people the wrong way, as he has in Kansas City and Cleveland, other stops. But who's really in charge? Is it Dorsey? Is it Holmes? Is it Chris Spillman?
Yeah.
So as long as they know their role, they got the organizational chart.
Yeah.
They can keep their egos in check. I like what they're doing.
Yeah. What we said it earlier. What the know your role, jabroni. You got to stay in your lane. So, The Rock. Stay in your lane. Make sure you do what you need to do. And I think everyone should be happy. I think what they want is what's best for the team and what's best for the organization. It's one of those things where you can definitely need to check your ego at the door. You come in, you're trying to make a difference. And I think it's what Shelia Ford Hamp and people like Chris Spillman and Rod Wood are preaching, like, put all your egos to the side. Let's build something in Detroit that they haven't seen before. And let's give them an opportunity to win a Lombardi trophy. And that's something that they've never done. We haven't even been to the Super Bowl. The closest we've gotten is the NFC Championship game. But we want that. We want that experience of hosting that trophy sooner rather than later. All right. So, that's Defend the Den. We like what they're doing in the front office. We like what they're doing on the coaching staff. Shelia Ford Hamp, I said this before, and I'm going to say it one more time. if we can get a Lombardi trophy, this is my thing. Lions fans, you can tell me if I'm wrong. If we get a Lombardi trophy under the tutelage of Shelia Ford Hamp revamping this front office and his coaching staff and how the Lions do business, I'm taking the William Clay Ford initials off the jersey. I'm replacing the WCF with SFH. I want Shelia Ford Hamp to go on that jersey because she would deserve it if we can get that Lombardi trophy. That's just my opinion, brother.
And let me say quickly about the news owner. She's been like her daddy, even her mom. She's more aggressive than her father ever was, or her mama. Mm-hmm. But then you always assume, like most people, like myself, then you always assume that the son, William Clay Ford Jr., would have took over the Lions. Now.
You know what? I'll say this. I like, with Martha Firestone Ford, I saw it where she wanted to hand it down to her daughter. I don't think she wanted to hand it down to her son.
I'm surprised. I always assumed that he was going to take over the team when his daddy stepped down or passed away.
And mom took them. She was the next in line. I mean, she was the matriarch of the family. So, I don't know. I've never been impressed with William Ford Jr. So yeah, I never thought he would be the. I never saw it in him where he was going to take over the team. That's just my opinion. I never saw that. I just never was that impressed with him. I think we would still have some of the way his dad did business if we did it that way. That's just me. That's just me. Okay, that was Defend the Den right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. It's time for the last little break. So thank you again for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast. We really appreciate you. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment on the video, share and like those videos. We really appreciate it. And if you're watching on Facebook, share the video, like the video, comment on the video. We always appreciate you checking us out right here on our channel. And if you're not a member of our Facebook page already, go over there and like it. Shawnee J does an excellent job of keeping you informed of all of Detroit Lions news and rumors right there on our Facebook page. And if you are listening to one of our show on a podcast platforms, thanks for the download or the listen. We really appreciate that. It really warms our heart over here on the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And if you want to check out some more content, go to bellyupsports.com and check out their podcast over there. It's really a myriad of different podcasts. All the sports you want is right there on the page. And if you want to check out some hard-hitting articles, we have some talented writers on staff over there on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Now, it is time for 2 Points Conversing. And Shawnee J, you brought this topic up to me. Now, I want you to break this down for me right quick. What do you think about the controversial remarks from one Detroit native, Rob Parker, on Matthew Stafford if he was a black quarterback?
Well, yeah, controversial. I knew Rob Parker. I met him years ago. I used to work security at Channel 50 station, station Detroit. He used to come, do the weekend sports thing, visit. We talk all the time at the guard booth. I got to know him well. He's a controversial writer. He takes, he looks at things differently than the average writer, if you will. He basically said if Matthew Stafford was a black quarterback, he'd be out the league right now with his numbers. He compared him to James Winston, which I don't know is necessarily the best comparison. Yeah, but I don't know. I like Rob. He's a good guy, but I don't agree with him on this one. I like a lot of his things, but I don't agree with Rob on this one. I've been a big Stafford fan. I like Matt. I'm sorry to see him go, but like you said, he came to a team that was 0-16 when he was drafted. Yeah. The first couple, and he battled injuries, but his first season, but he became an Iron Man and the best quarterback the Lions ever had. And what we said once again, the Lions, he relied too much on his golden arm. In his 12-year career, he only had a 100-yard rusher 11 times.
Yeah, that's one per year. That's one per year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, brother. Now I understand what Rob Parker is saying. I don't agree with him in this case, but I understand because plenty of times black quarterbacks have been minimalized, especially coming up through the years. It was always hard to be a African American quarterback in the league because they said you weren't smart enough, you weren't fast enough, as far as your thinking process, you weren't cerebral, a thinker, and that's just one thing saying you weren't smart enough to play the game. But you look at the league now and the status of the league now, where you have a myriad of black quarterbacks playing the league. It's more about talent than it is about, the color of your skin. And I just have to disagree with him. And he compared, let's look at these numbers, right? So he compared Matthew Stafford's first 5 seasons to Jameis Winston, who is a current backup down in New Orleans, but he's going to get his opportunity because looks like finally Drew Brees is going to retire down there in New Orleans. But he said, okay, after Stafford's first 5 full seasons, he had 21,170 yards passing, 125 touchdowns, and 84 interceptions and 34 wins. Now, this is on definitely some bad teams. Jameis Winston, however, after his first 5 full seasons, had 19,737 yards passing, 121 touchdowns, 88 interceptions, and we know he threw 30 of them in one season, and 32 wins. However, here is the thing where you cannot make this case, where Stafford played in 61 games. All right, so he played 10 in his first full season and only 3 in his second season. So yes. That's 61 games. Winston played in 72 games. So that's 11 more games. So he had 11 more games to get, and he's only 2,000 yards, you know what I'm saying? He's like 2,000 yards behind Stafford, playing 11 more games. He played 11 more games, and his stats should be way ahead of Matthew Stafford. That's 11. That's almost a full season that he played more than Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford is still ahead of him in these categories. So that's where the argument for me breaks down. Where you have Stafford playing 11 less games. Think about if Matthew Stafford would have played those games, right? Mm-hmm. That would have put him way ahead of Jameis Winston, and that his point would have been moot, to say the least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, correct.
To me. Now I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand where Mr. Parker is coming from, but to me, it just does not warrant that case in this situation, where Jameis Winston had a better defense down there in Tampa. He had a better running game for most of his career than Matthew Stafford. Now, I'm not saying that Jameis Winston is trash. Jameis Winston did some things down there in Tampa. He just had a bad start to his career. He had the controversy coming out of college, the thing with the crab legs, maturity issues, and the thing with the Uber driver and all of this stuff like that. But another thing he did, which did not make sense to me whatsoever, in Tampa, the dude was playing blind. How are you playing quarterback in the NFL and you can't see down the field? The dude should have had LASIK a long time ago. He has it now. He can see now. I think you would get a better quarterback from Jameis Winston down there in New Orleans. Look at the touchdown pass he had down there in the playoff game. The guy I'm not saying Jameis Winston can't play, but his situations and the things that he did in his career put him on a path to where he was a backup. It was maturity issues. It wasn't his play on the field. It was some of his things off the field. And then, just as a thing, here's my deal with him. And I'm not bashing him as a black quarterback. This is just something I just don't understand. As a professional athlete, you have to take care of your body. And how are you not taking care of your vision as a quarterback, which is probably the most important thing besides your arm is your vision down the field. And you're playing the game halfway blind. I mean, no, he can see, but you're playing the game blurry. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. Take care of your vision, get LASIK, wear contacts or something where, you have to take care of your vision. And that's the probably, beside your arm, how can you read defense if you can't see down the field? I mean, I'm not getting it. I wish Jameis Winston, success down there in New Orleans. But Mr. Parker, you're just wrong on this one. Matthew Stafford was started in the league because he deserved to start, my man. He was a good player on a lot of bad teams. That's just what the brother, the guy had 1,000-yard rusher his entire time in the league. Reggie Bush, 1,000-yard rusher. Come on, man. You have to do better than that. You can't. That argument holds no water for me.
I guess people expect the Stafford to put the Lions on his back and carry them, play offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the whole thing with wins. I think that's an unfair quarterback stat. QB wins. I mean, football, especially NFL football, is the ultimate team sport. And if you don't have a good team around you, or talent around you, or just play well as a team, you're not going to win.
That's true. It's not like baseball. Mm-hmm. They try to compare quarterbacks to baseball pitchers. It's not quite the same.
Nah, it's not the same. Not the same at all. All right, so that was 2 Points Conversing this week. Now, Shawnee J, my man, you had some other thoughts. I know you wanted to talk about a few things before we get out of here, but real quick, give me your final thoughts on what you think about the Lions' future going forward.
I think the future looks bright. I'll miss Matthew Stafford. He's one of my favorite Lions, the best quarterback we ever had to date. Mm-hmm. But let the Jared Goff era begin. Mm-hmm. I mean, if things don't work out, like you said, we have 5 number 1 draft picks over the next 3 years, mm-hmm. our own, and the one we got from the Rams. Mm-hmm. I think Brad Holmes, a very bright GM young man, he's making the Lions relevant. The Lions are still in the offseason show already, mm-hmm. and the Super Bowl hasn't been played yet. People haven't talked about the game, Super Bowl. Yep. They're talking about the Matthew Stafford trade, mm-hmm. and the Lions, all the ball moves they made, like once again, in the front office and the coaching staff. I mean, I did some heavy posting today in our group, if you noticed, mm-hmm. Truth Fan Group. So I think the future is bright. I think Shelia Ford got it right, for hires. Mm-hmm. Dan Campbell, like I said, he's not one to rebuild. He wants to win. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why he's the one to go for rookie starting quarterback starting out the gate. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Lions are going to take a quarterback this year now. Not in the first round. They might take one of the third-round picks, but definitely not with the first round. So that's why we got Goff. I don't think, a true rebuild will start with a young rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, no, they want to win. So I like that. I like that attitude. Mm-hmm. I love Campbell. I love his press conference. I mean, best press conference for new hire ever. So,
yeah.
He reminds me of Bill Cowher, the former Steelers coach.
Yeah, definitely. I feel you on that one. Yeah, he does, man. Like you said, I feel that the future is going to be bright. I like Brad Holmes. I like what he's bringing to the table, and he has the tools and flexibility to move up and down in the draft as he sees fit. And select the best player available. And, he can build some more draft capital. He has that flexibility to do a lot of things now that we have all those first-round picks over the next couple of years. So I like that as well. Hey, it's time for us to go ahead and get on out of here. Shawnee J, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
I'm always on Facebook. My name is Sean Jennings. You can find me there. I'm easy to spot out. You can give me a friend request. You can ask to be added to our Detroit Truth Fans Group. I'll be happy to add you. You can always find our public page, Detroit Die Hard Den, Lions Die Hard Den on Facebook. Just type in Die Hard Den. Like Curtis says, I keep you well informed in both groups. So check us out.
Yes, he definitely does. Hey, you can find the show. We are on Facebook, the Die Hard Den Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter as well at Die Hard Den Pod C1, or you can find me at Curtis Steele 14. That's CurtisSteele 14 on Facebook. It'll be Curtis Steele, and you can find me on Instagram at Curtis Steele 14 as well. And you can follow the show on Instagram as well. It is die_hard_den_podcast. And go over to our YouTube channel. If you want to check out a visual version of our show, it's right there on our YouTube channel, Die Hard Den. And I post a video of this show as well on Facebook. Now, of course, we're on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network as well, under the Detroit Lions on the Prowl, who presents our show. So go over there to bellyupsports.com and check out all the content from our show and a lot of other shows. A lot of content you can get over there. You know, however kind of style of show that you want your sports, you can find it right there on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. And if you want to read some hard-hitting articles by some talented writers, go over there and check it out. So, Seany J, what's your parting shots for the people as you get out the door?
I once again want to say, I can't say it too many times. I say every week, I know. But please be safe. This COVID-19 crisis is not over yet, people. Please continue to be safe. And if you have a Super Bowl party, keep it small and wear your mask and just be safe.
Definitely. Hey, the Super Bowl is coming up. All right. So, Seany J, before we get out of here, who's your pick to win the Super Bowl?
You know, I got to go with the Bucks. It's a home game for them. It's in their home stadium. So I got to go with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa's going to win 35-21.
Yeah, I like Tampa's defense, but I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the young gun, Patrick Mahomes. I hope he gets another Super Bowl. I want to see Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy win another championship out there. As Seany J said, definitely be safe out there, people. Wear your mask and your gloves, and make sure you stay socially distant. You know, even with the vaccine, everyone hasn't gotten it yet, and it's not safe just to go back as life as normal. Hey, we appreciate you checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den Podcast, presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Now, I need you to do one thing for me. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Seany J, this is Curt Steele, and we are